morally unfit to serve as Attorney General. Among them, our next guest, columnist Jonathan Allen of Roll Call. Jonathan, thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
So you wrote a column about Sessions before today's announcement, but recently. And I got to say, it's one of the most unfair things I think I've ever read.
Okay.
I mean, it's almost like a pure download from the DNC website. You say, among many other things, Sessions is a favorite of Stormfront, the white nationalist web community founded by former Klansman Don Black. Is there any evidence that he's had contact with Stormfront, endorsed Stormfront, or are you just smearing him on the basis of their endorsement of him?
Well, look, I'm not saying that he's like a member of Stormfront or anything.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that he is a favorite of people who hold bigoted views, and that's not.
So if someone you don't like says something nice about you, you're tainted by that?
Well, I think if you look at the history and the pattern of Jeff Sessions, he said things over the course of time that should make
you said something really specific. You said he was endorsed by Stormfront. But I'm sure he would disavow that immediately. So why is that fair to write that?
He hasn't disavowed it that I know of.
Oh, so you think he agrees with Stormfront? Is that what you're evidence for that?
I don't know, but the point that I would make about Jeff Sessions and the larger point of the column is Americans should have a right to feel that they are going to be equally protected under the law. And Jeff Sessions, over the course of time, and I pointed out a lot of other things in that column, has said and done things that should make people some people feel uncomfortable with the idea that he's going to treat them fairly under the law.
I don't think, here's what people have a right to, is the expectation that if someone's going to throw out a charge, that it's substantiated. It's not just by implication. In this McCarthy way, you say, among other things that I'm quoting now, surely Sessions wouldn't try to resegregate the American armed forces in which he served. Really? Jonathan Allen, surely you wouldn't batter a child. What does that mean? Nobody
well, no, you're right, I wouldn't.
No, but nobody suggested he would resegregate the armed forces.
Well, Jeff Sessions has been opposed to the Voting Rights Act in the past.
Opposed? Is that the same as resegregating the American armed forces?
Well,
I mean, that's a really appalling thing to say about somebody.
Wait a second. It's not that far of a cry for some people.
But has that suggestion ever come up? That's specific. We're talking
about the Attorney General of the United States.
No, we're talking about your column.
We're talking about the Attorney General.
You suggested that was even a possibility. He would resegregate the U.S. armed forces, and I'm asking where.
I said he wouldn't.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't beat your wife.
But however,
you're attacking him.
However,
but not directly.
However, there are the armed forces of the United States is one of the institutions that is most racially diverse, most ethnically diverse in our country, right?
Right.
Lots of people of all sorts of backgrounds in the United States Armed Services. First integrated by Harry Truman way back when. All of those people who are not white people would have to have faith, and the reason that came up is we're talking about a potential defense secretary appointment for him at some point. Should be able to have faith that their leader doesn't discriminate against them or is not prejudiced against them.
Because there's literally no possibility that he wants to do that he would suggest doing it, or that he would do it. But you're fear-mongering. But by the way, you know what else is a very diverse place? Is the state of Alabama, which he's represented for 20 years. It's 25% African-American. Can you name, in the 20 years he has served, 19 as senator, a single instance where he has mistreated someone on the basis of his race? Ever. One.
Well, senators don't typically walk around mistreating their citizens.
You're calling the guy a racist, so why don't you throw some examples?
So I'll give you an example of something that I think should worry people if they believe in the equal protection of the law.
Right.
When he talks about immigration, right? He's a big anti-immigration guy, wants to crack down on immigration. When President Obama said he was going to put 2,000 minors, undocumented minors in Alabama,
you mean here illegally?
Children. Yes, here illegally, children.
Okay.
In the state of Alabama, Jeff Sessions' response was, we're going to have to treat them and feed them and let them go.
Okay.
So
I'm missing your point. Was the state not on the hook for feeding and clothing those kids?
He was complaining about the idea that that the state of Alabama was going to have to feed and clothe children.
Okay, but
do you think
so that makes him
that's
racist?
Such an awful?
I mean, that's your example of his racism? Are you being serious?
First of all, I don't think I called him racist.
You called him racist like 9 times in the column.